trade journaling. Now, you all know that when starting out, or whatever stage you are, maybe if you even see professional traders, they will tell you how they keep track. Yeah, how they keep track of their trades. Now, there are several reasons why you want to keep track of your trades, maybe in times of losing streaks, or maybe when you no longer trust in your strategy or the process. It just happened. No matter how good your strategies are, you will definitely have a rough ride at some point. So that's one of the reasons why you have to keep journaling your trades every day. And whenever you meet investors, for professional traders, you will want to agree with this. Whenever you meet investors, the first thing that they're going to ask you is, they are going to ask you for your track record. Most times, investors want to ask for your quarterly track record, or maybe your yearly track record and all of that. So you can track that way. People track that with the help of my FX book and so on and so forth. A lot of them, there are a lot of them, which I'm also going to be talking on today's topic. Now, here is how I journal my trades and how you too can do the same. All right, so it's pretty straightforward. Number one, you have to, the goals at a glance. You have to know the goals surrounding journaling trades. Yeah, these are goals you should be working on based on your key strategy for the year. You should be working on this based on your key strategy. Like every year, like already you guys saw my goals for the year. I published it on YouTube and also published it on my Telegram so that I can be held accountable for that. Now, setting goals is not just enough. You have to make sure your goals are smart. And as smart as they are, you have to make sure you are disciplined and you are committed to them. So these are three reasons why you may want to set these goals. All right, number one, why you want to start journaling trades. Number one, to keep track for investors, for investment purpose, because whenever investors want to hit you up, oh, yo, Jeff, like I get a lot of that. If I want to manage $100,000, $200,000, so they want to see my track record. So normally I normally show them my quarterly track record, so they will see if it's something that they want to invest in. But there are times that I do have drawdown of, let's say, like 7%, 10% in a month. Some investors are comfortable with that. These are risks that they are willing to take. So it's in these journals that they are able to keep track, or they are able to know, okay, am I willing to take or to take this risk? So that's why you have to keep that for investment purpose. Number two, you have to checkmate yourself in times of losing streak. Yeah, you have to keep this in order to checkmate yourself. Like you have to go back when you're losing to know what you're actually doing wrong. Most times when you're losing, the best thing is not to back test. Yeah, there are times that backtesting does work, it helps, but it's not every time that backtesting will help you. There are times that the best thing to do is go back to your journal and see what you have done in the past. And there are times that you have to forward test. What I mean by forward test, calm down, go back to demo and use a real market, because losing streaks most of the time can be caused most of the time by psychology, not by your strategy. Your strategy can still be very intact and you still be losing. It happens. So that's why you have to know what works at each point in time. And the third reason why you want to keep a journal is number three, to build discipline, patience, and faster execution process. What this simply means is whenever you have a journal, you have a set rules that you follow every day, every time that you want to place trade. That makes you more disciplined. All right. It makes you more patient to wait for that rule to be set. Yeah. And another thing, you have faster execution process. Like you make your decisions fast. You make a very healthy decision faster than someone who is not keeping track. Now, here are the tools that you need to keep track of your trades. So number one category is you need book and pen or a whiteboard. This is what I use most of the time. If I was in my home office, I would have showed you guys the book that I got and whiteboard. Now, here's the trick to this one. What I did was I had to go to, when I went to a mall, I looked for a very expensive journal to buy. Now, I'm not saying you should do the same thing, but that's what worked for me. I had to buy a very expensive journal because that's when I'm going to place value to it. So I have that journal beside me and I'm always watching it. I always have a pen that I used to swap, and I also have a whiteboard where I write my daily plans on. So these are the things you will need. Yeah. And the number two thing, you could also have it as a soft copy. Some people may want this, like by using Notion or use Evernote. Notion is an app and also a software for your Mac or your PC or your iPhone or your Android. And Evernote is the same thing. You could also use that, and you could also use Excel, Microsoft Excel, which is MS Excel, right? This one is really, really common. You can search on YouTube. People are talking about this, and I've also talked about journaling here on YouTube. So you may want to go check out my winning strategy, and where I also talked about psychology and every other thing that regards to journaling. All right. Then the third thing is that you could also use to keep track of your trade is using MetaTrader 4 app or MetaTrader 5 app. All right. You know, when you place trade, if you go to your history, you're going to see all the histories of your trades there. Your stop loss, your take profit, your time, your exit, and everything is right there, and your pair. But the only thing that MetaTrader 4 will not provide for you, it will not give you a space for you to journal the reasons why you took those trades. So that's why the next option might actually be best. You may want to explore other options, which is proprietary firm statistical app. I know of FTMO have this. My FX phone also have this, and other proprietary firms. They are also all incorporating this. They give you option for you to journal your trades. So it is very, very important. Another software that you could also use is myfxbook.com. So myfxbook allow you to immediately, you can just download, you can connect your myfxbook to your account. So anytime you are placing trade, it automatically keep tracks and let you know your max drawdown, your max daily drawdown, your target, knows your, help you to know your risk to reward, and also give you your strategy potentials and all of that. And another software that could also help you to do that is fxblue.com. So you want to take note of all of this. So the next one is you have to consider these things while journaling. Number one, you may want to take notes at this junction. Number one, stop loss placement. Why is this important? Whenever Forex is a business, is the most risk-free business in the world. That's how I take it. Why am I saying is a risk-free business in the world? It's because it's the only business that allows you to determine your risk even before you get in. And in determining your risk before you get in, you can actually control it by the help of a stop loss. Like you can decide, okay, in this trade, I'm willing to lose $500. I'm willing to lose $1,500. I'm willing to lose $100,000. It's all in your hand. Or let's imagine for somebody that is a car dealer, he does not know, he could bash someone. Yeah, someone could come from nowhere and bash you. Like all businesses have problems, like they have risk and everything here and there. But Forex, you know that they are risk, yeah, and those risks are highly controllable. The control is in your hand with the help of a stop loss. And here's one thing I want you guys to know. When calculating risk, calculate it in terms of percentage. That's how professionals look at it. Like for example, if you're asked how much risk do you risk in a month, you just tell them, I expose my account, let's say like 7% in a month, or I could have a drawdown of 10% in a month. That's what professionals want to hear. They don't want you to start talking in terms of numbers. Maybe you are trading a $500 account and you're talking about, oh, I'm losing $50. No, it does not make sense, because they may actually be looking to entrust you with a huge sum of money. So you talk in form of percentage, because I believe whatsoever you can do on a small account, you can also replicate on any account. Yeah. If you believe that's true, just drop number one on the chat box. Drop number one on the chat box. Whatsoever you do on a small account, you can also do that on a big account. Is that true? Let me know what you think. All right. So thank you guys. Okay. Thank you. So it simply means you guys are following. All right. So then the second thing you want to consider is you have to keep track of your trades quarterly. You have to break it this way. In a year, you have to break your trades quarterly. All right. When we meet quarterly, we have Q1, Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. So Q1 is January, February, and March. 3. We break it to 3 places. January, February, March, then Q2 like that. 3 until you get to December. So after you do that, you have to still take it a step further. You have to take it a step further on a monthly. Averagely, we have 30 days in a month. You have to break it into 15 days. All right. So you have to keep track of how your results pans out in 2 weeks. Then you always have to come back to that journal, always to keep updating, to know what you are doing wrong and to know what you are doing right. And you want to replicate what you are doing right and stop what you are doing wrong. All right. Then the third thing is trade management plan. You have to keep, this one is a must. This must be in your journal. You have to have a trade management plan. As at what point do you break even? As at what point you look to start new positions to add new entries? As at what point do you look to exit? And how many positions do you want to get in a day? And all of those things. Yeah, it has to be in your trading journal. And the fourth thing is routines. Your daily routines matters most. All right, your daily routines matters most. You have to write, okay, like for me, Whenever I wake up in the morning, 6 a.m., I do my prayers. That's when we do our family prayers. Yeah. So immediately I'm done, I have to go back to my trading. Any day that I dare go out, like I have a call, an urgent call, and I go out, that day I'm not going to trade. It already ruins my psychology, like I'm unstable. Why? Because I've noticed that each time I try that, I always lose money. So you have to really know what works for you in your own personal routine. You have to know what works. There are some people, you should have a pre-game. A pre-game is what you do before you head onto your trading desk. Some people can be playing inspirational music, some can be reading inspirational books or motivational, anything that just inspire you, or scrolling through your mentors' dashboard and see what they are doing and all of that. So all these things are really important. Now I get this question, Jeffrey, do you trade every day? Should I trade every day? Now, trading every day, it's not a problem. Yeah, it's not a problem. The major thing you want to take note of, you cannot always trade every day. I mean, it's not necessary. As long as your candles are printing, like I trade one pair, just as you all know, just know that as long as the candles are printing, moving here and there is always trade opportunity for you. The question is, are you trained to see those opportunities? Question number one. And in as much as you are seeing those opportunities, some opportunities are better, are stronger than some. So you have to filter your opportunities and focus on the best ones. Focus on the best ones. So it's not compulsory to trade every day. Like I personally, on Mondays, most times, I don't trade. So you shouldn't trade every day. It's not compulsory. Only trade when you see your best setup. Then the next question is, can you be profitable with 50% win rates? What if I have lesser win rate? Like normal system, I get emails every day. They have 70% win rate, 70% win rate, and they still lose money at the end of the day. Now, you don't have to have a high win rate. Yeah, you don't have to have it. It's very fine. In addition, for you have a 50% rate, still, yeah. All you just have to do, you have to make your risk to reward to be at least 1 to 2. 1 to 2. That is, if you are risking 1, you are looking to gain it 2. If you are risking 20 pips, you are targeting 40 pips. If you are 40 pips, you're targeting 80. That is, for example, in a month, you have 100 trades journaled. Let's say when you have 50-50, that is, you lost 50 times and you won 50% of the times. Yeah. So 1 times 50, that's 50. 2 times 50, that's 100 minus 50. If you have it depends on when you have this loss. Maybe you're having the loss 5 loss consecutively. That's when you probably may have a problem. All right. So if you are even having 5 loss consecutively or 10 losses consecutively, then you have to work on your strategy. All right. So that's that on that question. So what should I do when I find myself taking trades outside my trading plan? This way, you have to write out, also journal the discipline. Like you have to discipline yourself. You have to give yourself punishment. Like I'm not going to mention this. I give myself punishment whenever I don't stick to my trading plan, and it would soar on me. I give myself a psychologist. I have a trading psychologist. She taught me this whole thing about how human mind works. So you have to learn to discipline yourself, punish yourself when you go against all of this, just as though you have a master. Yeah. So that's one thing that is really, really important. Then the last part is psychology. Psychology is everything. Psychology is everything. We heard the last speaker talked about this. The lady that was speaking, I was in the first webinar, she was talking about how psychology and everything really messed with her when she was starting out, but she was able to pick up on it in the long run. Yeah, psychology is everything. When you lose a trade, write down why you failed. That's the psychology. Write down the thinking process. Okay, what was I thinking at the time when I hopped on? Why did I fail? You have to document the lessons. All right, document the lessons of each failed trade and of the successful ones too. That's how you can succeed in the long run. So that's the end of today's class. Thank you guys for coming on. Let me get some questions. That's if I have any questions at all.